What's up YouTube fam, Ed Clark from Roulette Calculators, back with another video, and this week's video is all about flat betting and roulette strategies that we can use flat betting with. But first I want to announce this week's lucky winner for the roulettecalculators.com lifetime free membership. Now last week all I did to select the winner was go into the YouTube subscribers list, and I scrolled down and just grabbed one quickly. Okay, it was random. I didn't play favorites or anything. I just scrolled through and then stopped it. And it's not really fair because, you know, there is a certain element of me choosing. And I wanted to make it as fair as I can. And I found a way to automate this. And what it does, it selects a YouTube commenter. So on last week's video, all I do is grab the URL, paste it into, it's called pickawinner.co, the website, and it strips out all of the commenters. It also removes duplicates and replies and things like that. So people can't just sit there and go, I'm going to make 1,000 comments and definitely win this thing. So it'll only take one of them into account. And that's the fairest way I can see it. So if you want to be in next week's prize draw, what you need to do is drop a comment on this video. It can be about absolutely anything, but we hope that you're going to ask us questions about roulette strategies or give us an idea for the next week's video. And that obviously helps us provide content and value for you guys. So let's head over to pickawinner.co and we're going to find out this week's lucky winner. So all we're going to do is grab the URL from last week's video and we're going to a YouTube random comment picker. We paste the URL in there and we click fetch. Now I'm going to disable reply, so it's only going to grab comments that people have made themselves. We click continue, then it's going to strip out any of the comments. Then we just click pick a winner. And this week's winner is Ashburton78. What we're going to do is double check, make sure that he is definitely subscribed on the YouTube channel. And then we are going to send the free membership. So congratulations, Ashburton78. You are this week's lucky winner. So we've just gone onto the YouTube subscribers list and we can confirm that Ashburton78 is definitely one of our subscribers. So congratulations, buddy, you've won the free lifetime membership. So if you want to be in for a chance next week, make sure you drop a comment below, make sure you're subscribed, and also hit that bell icon. That will give you a notification every time we post a new video, and will also contain the winner for next week. So let's get on with the strategy and techniques that we use for flat betting. So what is flat betting? Well, flat betting is simply a term used when we're talking about stakes. Now, I'm not on about the delicious, juicy kind. When I refer to a stake, I simply mean the amount of money that is wagered on a single bet. So when we refer to flat betting, that means that we never change the amount of money that we're wagering on a single bet. Now, if you're the type of person that has no discipline and you play with raw emotion, this is a great tip for you to play using flat betting, because so many people, they make a bet and then if they lose, they simply increase the bet to try and recoup their losses, which can be really dangerous. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a place for progressive betting. There's some really good strategies where if you lose, you increase your bet. If you lose, you increase your bet. Typically like the martingale system, it does work. But if you are playing on raw emotion, I typically don't consider that as smart betting or educated betting. People that are just betting, you know, particularly the people that pick lucky numbers or they start betting on people's birth dates and things like that, that's gambling. That, to me, that is just gambling. If you've got a structure, then you're simply betting smart. And with us, when we all use the calculators, we're looking at the dealer or the table's history, and educated betting is definitely the way forward. So when would we want to use a flat betting strategy? I mean, there's several factors that come into play when using a flat betting strategy. The main one is how many numbers you're covering. So let's say you're covering 18 numbers, which is half the table. You would need to get more wins than losses to be in profit. It's that simple, because it's a 1-to-1. So if you bet £5 and you lose, then you bet £5 and you win, you're even. So let's say you're covering 9 numbers. What you would need is 1 out of 4 to be a winner, just to remain even. So it does vary on the amount of numbers, but what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the area key. I'm going to log a few tables, a few dealers, and we're going to look for the exact point where I believe a flat betting strategy would work. Now, typically when I use the area key, I do a progressive betting, but I usually only go one depth in. So if I'm betting on zeros, and typically when we're using a flat betting strategy, I would be looking for 0, 0, 0, 0 on the depth thing. If you are not familiar with the area key, there will be a link in the description that from my previous video that goes in full depth of how the area key and the reverse area key works. But we're going to jump over to a table now. I'm going to start logging some dealers, and let's have a look to see if we can find one that would be ideal for flat betting. Welcome back, guys. We're about to jump into a table and look for a dealer that's good for the area key or reverse area key for this flat betting video demonstration. So I'm on 888.com. I'm going to head over to the area key from Roulette calculators, and what we're going to do is just log a table, and what we're looking for is either a whole bunch of zeros. The zeros always have to outweigh the higher numbers, or we're looking for consistent high numbers. Okay, so let's just log a table and I'll show you what I mean. So we'll go back to 888 Roulette. They sometimes have pretty consistent dealers. And what I'm doing on the area key, I'm putting the amount of numbers to track to 19 and also start betting at a positive depth of 0. And that basically lets us see what's happening on the table. I'm going to log the last few numbers. So I'll go back here to 19 and just see what happens. So you can also get a gauge for how well the area key is doing by simply looking at the graph as well. So obviously once I select 19, you'll see the highlighted numbers from there. So that one went to 13, which was in the highlighted number there. So I'll select 13. 13 then went to number 2, which again is in the highlighted section. So this is starting to look good for the standard area key. Number 2 went to number 6, again that's in the highlighted zone there. 6 went to 11, again in the highlighted zone, and then 11 went to 24, which again is in the highlighted zone, and 24 went to 22, which again is in the highlighted zone. So normally I log a few tables and find one, however this dealer seems to be smashing it again on number 29. So I'm going to jump straight in on this, and what I'll be doing is putting the bet on number 29, but I'm going to show you the graph here. Now you're not expected to win on every hand, but if you look here, this was actually the starting point, so that is counted as a 0. So he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros in a row. Now for this demonstration, I'm not going to be changing, I'm not going to increase the bets. It's always going to be £1 flat betting. So we're going to get a bunch of wins and we're going to get a few losses, hopefully, if this dealer carries on with this particular trend. But as I always mention, you've got to analyze the table. Now see, that landed perfectly in the right place then, but then just carried on past. So that was a bit unlucky for our starting bet. But what I'm going to do is just chuck the neighbors straight on number 10. And that's all flat betting is. We're just not increasing the bet. Typically, if I'm doing a progressive strategy, I would have doubled that bet. But in this case, as we're demonstrating the flat betting thing, and this guy's looking pretty consistent for flat betting because he's had a whole bunch of zeros. And let's just see how he carries on with this. So we're looking for the tier section of the table. It looks, well, it's pretty good. It did bounce back. It's landed on 34, which gave us our win. I did notice on a few that we logged was on the actual edge there. But now, because we won that, we just carry on with the same amount of bets. So we're just putting it on 34. I'm going to look at the graph again. So you can see this was actually a 0, the 7th win. So it went 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, which would have all been wins for us. Then we had the 1, which gave us a loss. But of course, when that came in, it gave us a win. So the idea with flat betting is you need to obviously be winning a lot more than losing, because you're not increasing the bet. So you're going to be putting a bet on, and then if it loses, you're just going to carry on with the same amounts of bets. And the idea is, that was a horrible spin, but the idea is you want to just basically find a table that's giving you more zeros than it would be ones. So you can see this is now at a depth of 1 again. So I'm not going to change the amount. I'm just going to go straight back on number 18. And of course we're covering, when we're doing the neighbours bet, I've got it set to 9 here, as you can see, number 9, which means I'm covering the number it's just landed on, the number it just landed on, and 9 to the left of that and 9 to the right. So let's just see what happens with this guy. Now, I mean, if we got in early when it was doing this, that would have been good. But again, as I always say to people, you've got to consistently monitor the table. And in this case, he doesn't seem to be going back to the zeros consistently. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit out just for a few spins and see if, I mean, we could have had a dealer change, because I just jumped in and logged the numbers. So I want to watch him for a few spins just to make sure that he is having that level of consistency before I carry on betting. And that's what I always say to people, always analyze the table, because in this case I've had 2 losses and 1 win. We want to be seeing like 3 or 4 wins and then a loss. So let's just see what happens. So you can see here currently it's at a depth of 2, which we haven't seen before. Okay, so that landed in the highlighted area, so that would have been good. I'm going to watch him for another spin, or maybe 2, just to get a feel and make sure he is consistently landing on the highlighted area, more than not. So if we're looking at the reverse area key, you'd be wanting to see this. So you can see that's a depth of 2 there. You'd want to be seeing that always consistently a depth of 2 or higher, so maybe a depth of 2, 3, 4, and then you might get a 0, which typically puts it onto the next line as well. So that was obviously a 0 which went to a 1, but then it landed on the highlighted, which put it on the next line. So this guy's landed on 15 again, so that is the highlighted section again. So I'm going to give him another try, because he might have just had a couple of unlucky spins there. So again, we're just going to put the neighbours bet on number 15, which is the highlighted area. Let's see what he does. So I try and watch what the dealer's doing. I see that he spun, you want to see him pick up the ball from the last number, which was 15, and then spin from the same area as he picked it up from. It was maybe 1 or 2 behind, around 4.19. Okay, oh, that looks pretty good. It landed on number 12. It looked like it had a lot of power in it, and I thought it was just going to bounce out. But so that's given us a win. So you can see that's come in 0-0 in a row there. So we're going to carry on with this guy and just put the neighbours bet on number 12. So again, this is flat betting, no increase. And then if we watch the dealer here again, see where he picks the ball up from. And he spun it maybe 4 or 5 before that, so it was round 0 when he released the ball. Right, it should be around 12, but as long as they're consistently in the area, you sometimes see them pick them up and they don't release the ball until halfway around the table. But again, if they do that consistently, it can be good for you. Okay, so we got the win again on number 15. So he is typically staying on the zeros a lot more than the higher numbers. So let's carry on with this guy. So 12 went to 15, so we're going to put the neighbours straight back on number 15 again. What a good rule of thumb, if you are playing this system, you want to have a goal. Now, a good rule of thumb is whatever your balance is, if you can make half of that money again, so like we started with £100, if you can take it up to 150, that would be a good leaving point for you. So again, 25's just come in. So you can see that this dealer is being consistent. Now, if I did place the 2 bets on before, obviously my balance would be a bit higher now, but I know it's frustrating to miss out on bets, but in my opinion, logging a dealer and making sure that they are consistent before you start parting with your hard-earned cash is more important than just making a bet every go. Because sometimes you will find them, they just switch between hitting the highlighted area and not, and those are the type of guys that you want to avoid. That was a bit unlucky for us. It was in the area, but it went to number 12. So again, with this flat betting strategy, we will not increase the bet. We will just go straight back on number 12 there. And the whole concept behind flat betting is you need to find a table that is giving you a lot more of one than the other, because you're not increasing the bet. So it's essentially, if you look at betting on red and black, now to me that's too random, because there is no sort of pattern or anything to that. But if you're betting on red and black, then that's the same sort of element there. So we've got another win there on 14. I'll explain that a little bit more, what I'm trying to get across here. So if we're betting on red or black, it's 50-50 minus the 0, of course. So when you look at red and blacks, you don't really see one more of the other. You know, if you take 1,000 spins and look at them, typically 500 will be red and 500 will be black, because that's just the way it goes. But when we're betting on the actual wheel here, like you can see the roulette wheel, we're betting on an area, so we're covering the same amount as red and black, just maybe one more actually. Well, in this case it is. But what the issue is when you're betting on red and black is there is no dealer fallacy on it. So that's gone to number 4. That was a miss again. So let's just go back to number 4 on the neighbours. Yeah, so there's no real signature that's going on there. So if you look at red and black, or odds and evens, 1 to 18, 19 to 36, it's always going to be random. But when you're using the calculator with a dealer, you will find dealers that have a tendency to hit the same area of the table more often, or the opposite side of the table more often. And that's really what we're taking advantage of here. So obviously 15's come in, that's given us the win again. But what we need is a nice block. So let me just, I think every time I've put the money on 15 when it come in, he tended to go somewhere else. But let's have a look here. So we're looking for these big sections here of like zeros in a row. Then of course we have the misses here. And then we're looking for the zeros again, which we've got. And in this case, we lost them 1, lost them 1. So I'm going to keep my eye on this guy, and he does seem to be giving us a lot more wins than losses. So you can see, even though we've had a few losses, I'm up £24. So I'm going to go back on there again. But like I said, I do like to see a dealer that has a lot more. Sometimes I've played with a dealer and I've had 15, 20 zeros in a row, and then occasionally he'd throw a 1 in, which would just give you 1 loss, and then you've got all of those wins. So I'm going to keep an eye on him. He has got a fairly good signature on the highlighted zone. It's one of those things. Sometimes they can be great, and other times they can do that. So 16. So again, that's given us the miss there. But as I mentioned, with flat betting, you really do need to take your time to find a dealer that is consistently giving you those zeros. Now, if I was doing a progression, I'd be absolutely fine here. So if you imagine you missed there, instead of betting £1, I'd just double that to £2. And on this case, instead of 1, I would double it to 2, and then I missed again, so I'd double it to 4, and then I'd get the win. Then I'd have the win, 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 then I'd lose, but then I'd get the win because I'd bet £2. So with the progression, it is great. It does add a little bit more danger to it. However, it does give you the wins more often. With this flat betting system, which I typically don't do, I normally do the progression. You have to hit a lot more. So basically any loss you have to take as a loss, and any wins obviously as a win. In this case, you can see he's starting to hit a few 1s, which I don't like. But if I was using a progression, that would be absolutely fine. But for this video, I did say that I will talk about flat betting, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So if we can obviously hit more wins than losses, we will get to our goal of £50 fairly easily. So that's at 33 there, which has put us up to 139. So you can see there we've got that. So we just need a couple more. Now, well, in fact, just if this one comes in, that will give us our target. But as I mentioned, if I was doing the progression, I would have hit the target back here, so I would have only had a few bets to go in, and I wouldn't have had a loss. But the flat betting is a safer option if you want to do the slow play, if you want to play for duration, and you find your dealer that is behaving nicely. Fortunately, that one's gone to 13, which was 1 out, which we just missed there. So it looks like we need to get a couple more wins now to get to our target. So you can see he is doing lots of 0s and 1s. So let's go put the bet on 13 again. And see if we can get a couple of 0s. I mean, you can change it where you're just betting on a depth of 1, but when I'm betting on the highlighted area or the non-highlighted area, I like to see proper consistency. So betting on a 1 is just basically going, oh, we missed that time, but I'm going to bet again. But it does, you know, it can work when you're doing things like that. Okay, this looks good. It's landed on number 30 for us. We just need to get this 2 in a row to hit our target. So we're going to put the neighbours back on 30. Yeah, I mean, looking at the board here, for me, flat betting, this is pretty risky here. For progressive, absolutely fine, but flat betting, he's having too many 1s in the mix there, which I'm not a big fan of. That's landed on number 5, so we have hit our target now, £154, which I'm going to leave it there, and the reason for it is this dealer is absolutely perfect for a progression, absolutely perfect. So like I said, I mean, even if you just want to do a progression of 1, which means if you miss, you double your bet. If you miss on that, you just count that as a loss. That will work on this table. Obviously, if you look back here, we would have had win, 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 win. Then we would have had the progression and then won that. Then we would have had the loss, and then we would have progressed it and lost again. And then you would stop betting there. And then you'd have win, 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 progression, win, progression, win, win, progression, win, win, progression, win. So you can see the progression does make a huge difference. However, if you want to take your time, play slowly, and just do flat betting, it will work, but you do have to keep your eye on the dealer. So you can see here, number 5 was the one we just won on. That went to 36, which would have been another win for us on the flat betting. Just watching a couple more. But you can see here, I'll show you a clip in a moment of the times I've played with a dealer, and it's just big blocks of 0s and occasional 1s. So you can see that went to 29, which gave us another 1 there. So again, absolutely perfect for progression, this dealer is. Really, really good. However, well, I mean, even for the flat betting, I still made 54 quid, and it's only taken me 17 minutes, probably less because I've been chatting constantly. But I'm going to leave that with you. That's the area key, doing a flat betting system, and I hope I kind of clarified what I mean when I'm looking at the table, why I would play with a particular dealer and why I wouldn't play with a particular dealer. And just to recap, when you see lots of 0s with the occasional 1, okay, I mean, even here it was a 1 and then a 2, but then we had a block of 0s again. That's good for flat betting, perfect for flat betting. I prefer not to see the 2 there, but it is there. But then when it jumps over to this section here, where we've got 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, not good for flat betting, absolutely not. But this would be great for a progression where you're doing 2 bets in, so you make a bet, if you lose, you double your bet. That would be perfect for a progression. First half of the table, great for flat betting. Second half, great for progression. So I hope that clarifies that for you, and I'm going to leave the video there, and thanks for watching. So I really hope this video has given you insight into the world of flat betting and where it should be used and where it shouldn't be used. Now, I really hope that you did enjoy the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please hit the dislike button. I mean, let me know if these videos that I'm producing are offering you any sort of value. So I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you so much, all my subscribers and all the members on Roulette Calculators. You guys are absolutely amazing, and you are helping everyone on the network as well, which is truly amazing. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe now, hit that bell icon and leave a comment below. Let me know what you want the next video to be about, and also by leaving a comment you're entering in the prize draw for next week, which will basically give you a chance to win a free lifetime membership on Roulette Calculators, which is worth £500. So with that said, take care guys, and smart betting.